Just a couple of weeks before opening statements are set to begin in the Young Thug racketeering trial, a Fulton County judge has scheduled a hearing to happen today. The topic, pretty hot one, whether rap lyrics will be able to be used as evidence.
Atlanta News First, Rebecca Schramm is live in downtown Atlanta. Rebecca, prosecutors say they think those lyrics can be interpreted as confessions.
And Gervier and Brooks, those prosecutors are planning to defend their position at a hearing scheduled for 1 o'clock today. So before a judge, they'll do that. Defense attorneys no doubt will argue that the rap lyrics are just artistic expressions. Let's catch you up. Grammy award-winning rapper Young Thug was indicted a year and a half ago along with 28 others accused of running and taking part in a criminal enterprise through what prosecutors say is a gang called Young Slime Life, or YSL. Defense attorneys argue that YSL is not a gang, just a record label. Only 6 defendants remain because several have struck plea deals or had their cases severed. The indictment quotes violent lyrics from 9 of Young Thug's songs, but there's been some pushback on whether it's fair to use an artist's lyrics as evidence of crimes. Georgia Congressman Hank Johnson has twice now introduced legislation aimed at limiting the admissibility of evidence involving lyrics.
For too long, artists have been unfairly targeted by prosecutors who use their lyrics as evidence of guilt, even though there's no evidence that the lyrics are anything more than just simply creative expression.
People can continue to be angry about it. I have some legal advice. Don't confess to crimes on rap lyrics if you do not want them used, or at least get out of my county.
And we expect that defense attorneys will have a lot to say about that as they urge the judge to throw out evidence regarding those rap lyrics. We're going to listen in on the hearing this afternoon, and we'll let you know what the judge decides. Live in downtown Atlanta, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
Yeah, Rebecca, this could have implications on cases down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. We'll see what happens. Thank you.